In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Order! Order! I say, order again.
Now, you have all heard my learned friend's attack on my client. What he didn't let you hear was the trauma Mr. Prison Pigeon went through as a child.
Objection! Sub-story, Your Honour. I'll allow it.
In your own words, Mr. Prison Pigeon, why are you like this? What did your past caused you to go off on the rails? Jim Davidson, Bernard Manning.
My God.
And welcome back to the show where two men would love to play with each other's sonic screwdrivers.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, mate.
How are you doing?
Good. Right.
You enjoying doing these skits at the beginning of the show?
Oh, I wasn't there. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, sorry.
What skit?
It's the latest instalment of Prison Pigeon. It's going to come to the Beeb at some point.
He hasn't messaged me today, so I don't know.
What a prick.
Well, maybe he might not have any credit on his prison card.
Or someone's taken his bum phone.
His bum phone, yeah.
It's out of his clacker. I've seen they've got a clacker.
I think it was talking about lie detectors. We were talking privately.
Oh, yeah.
He did a video ages ago now. Of
Wait,
one
Prison
of those...
Pigeon did a video?
No, well, it might be Prison Linus. Of those little tiny phones that they reckon they use in prisons.
Mm-hmm. You can buy them on wish.com for like 20 quid. And they're tiny. They are really, really tiny.
That does not surprise me at all.
But let's face it, I still don't want to put one up my arse and then put it near my face.
Well,
hi, Mum, how are you? Yeah, it stinks of shit here.
yeah. So, God, this really smells in prison. They don't ever told me how much it smells, specifically by the phone.
Delicious.
That's enough of that. Let's go on with it.
Yeah, go on. Tell us what have we got on today?
So today we have the usual. We've got Do You Remember? We've got a little bit of taste tests, a Lion Bar White, as you wrote here, and a Dr. Pepper Strawberry. And then we've got the world-famous, world-renowned, best game show in the world, the Channel 84 Variety Nostalgic Kids Show Knockout. There's no Trek or Sci Fi chat today. Again, because neither of us have yet watched some... Oh, sorry, there's no Trek chat, but there's certainly Sci-Fi
There's
chat.
definitely Sci-Fi chat today.
We might mention Trek, but not specifically.
I have watched the musical episode of Strange New Worlds.
And?
Oh.
I can't wait to start watching it. Sorry, we haven't got a TV, so...
I'm so getting impatient with this.
Oh, no, sorry. I think I'm just going to have to look at them on my phone, aren't I? I'm going to have to watch them on my phone. We haven't got TV, so...
No. Wait for Panda. It's fine.
Panda's my wife's nickname, everybody, by the way. And we've got, lots of sci-fi chat today, so I hope everyone's up for it.
Yeah.
And then maybe some other things to talk about. I've had notes to talk about stuff for weeks, and we just never got to them.
Oh, fine. So hopefully we'll get to that today then.
Fine. So,
okay,
let's go with it.
Let's bang out the Do You Remember theme tune. Do you remember the shit that I bought? Remember? Did you give it a thought? Remember? It's probably tat, that's all. Woo! And we are back. Last week, Rob bought Manta Force to the game and didn't get a point, and I bought the Bog Paper cheat book, courtesy of Games Master magazine, and I also didn't get a point.
No.
It was a bit of a lemon last week, wasn't it? The only person that got a point was Karen.
Yes. The silence.
Yeah, they're just Karen. Look, no, you're taking our points now. It's not
Yeah.
on. Good news is Karen has sent in another item for us to do for Do You Remember? And it requires both of us remember on the rules for listeners who play to get a point. And we'll see. In fact, should we just outline it? So Karen bought Glow Friends Worm Glow Bug Vintage 1985 by Hasbro Play School. You'll all remember it if you're of our age.
Yep.
It was a fairly solid plastic glowworm thing. It had a bulb in it, if I remember rightly, didn't it?
It did.
Was it plug-in?
Nope.
No, it was just battery, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you used it as a nightlight for your kid. I recognised it straight away. Rob recognised it straight away. And tell Karen why she didn't get a point.
You don't get a point because my wife has one and it's on our bedroom window and I see it every single day.
So there you go, Karen.
Sorry, Karen.
I'm really sorry, but you're sticking to your 1 point. And yet, if you go to the webpage, you can now also see our listeners' scores as I've added their scoreboard to the bottom of that page.
Should we... Obviously, it's wicked that Karen's sending stuff. Are we going to open it up to other people? And maybe
absolutely.
if other people send, then we just kind of... Karen's like the leader of them. And then we just... we could have a listener one each time.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got something that you want to bring to Do You Remember, feel free to either email it to us, direct message us on Twitter, send it by carrier pigeon. Oh, no, sorry, that's going to piss off Prison Pigeon. No.
Okay.
Send it by a carrier eagle, whatever you want to do. Get it over to us and we will bring it into the game. And obviously, you don't need to send the physical item. We're not expecting you to go and spend money and send it to us. Just send us a picture of it. Maybe a little description as to why you remember it. And we'll read it out and we'll decide if you get a point or not.
Yeah, you got to beat us both, remember.
You do have to beat us both. But now on to the main game. Rob,
Yes.
I realise I think I've gone first the past couple of weeks.
I think I went first
I
last
know
time.
you
but
went-
I'll,
you
I'll,
went
I'll
first
happily
last
go
week,
first
so-
again.
Yeah, go on, you can go first.
So mine isn't so much the actual item I've brought with me. It's more
Okay.
what the item represents as a whole.
Okay.
So obviously you know the shop Mankind.
I do know it, Menkind.
And when it kind of appeared, there was a subsect of item that was always sold there and everyone was into. So hold on one moment.
So I'm going to say it's going to be a big-headed character of some variety made out of plastic.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. It's not the Waitrose bag this week.
No.
He's decided to go lower class this
I'm
time.
struggling.
It is a gadget shop
From a
bag.
gadget shop bag.
God,
Now,
I remember gadget
don't
shop.
expect you to remember this exact toy. There's two of them in there.
These are the laser tanks that would shoot each other, and it would be the equivalent of lock-on, but with tanks.
Now, what did it do? To you specifically. It electrocuted you.
Oh, God, this is the electrocution one.
I have the electrocution ones. So these represent
Oh.
the electrocution toys that came out. They came out. I don't know what.
Well, to be fair, you could have just gone with this as well, because I remember these, and yeah, no, absolutely, I would not have thought about these in the past
is
year
number
at all.
I think the batteries are in, so they probably need a clean. But we should play this. It's got a high and low setting. So what this is? Two tanks. You've got a controller each, and you shoot each other. And when you get hit, the other person gets electrocuted.
Yeah, we're playing that, and
Yeah.
pictures will be on the webpage, obviously, so you can see what we are talking about. No, I really remember these. I remember the electric toys that you were talking
Put your
about.
finger in.
The one that used to be, it was either you put your finger in, and it was a
can have a
disc-shaped thing, or they had the one that you all had almost looked like a sci-fi detonator
Yep.
that you held in your hand.
So this one works.
You know what? These weren't badly made, actually. I'm genuinely quite surprised by this. It's got a good amount of weight to it. Sorry, I'm holding the tank at the moment, not the controller, which you can hear in Rob.
you controlled the tracks individually. So your left finger did forward and back on left track and right finger.
It was proper tank controls. But you know what? These actually feel really well made. It's
And
got
has
a good
triggers.
weight to it. I'm guessing part of the weight's because there's going to be, three AA batteries. So no, not as many as I thought there would be in there.
Yeah, and it has triggers on the back for actually firing the cannon.
Oh, okay. So the controller feels considerably less quality. The tank feels a lot more, but okay, no, I like that. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. You've got the triggers to fire,
Yeah.
high, low power. Yeah, we'll have a play with these at some point.
You've got LEDs on the top of the tank, so 6 LEDs on top of the tank, and that represents your lives.
Okay.
So obviously you get a shock when you lose a life, and I think you get a big shock when you lose.
Oh.
But it also has a shock setting of high and low.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no.
that's my item this week.
You get a point.
Woo!
And that puts you to 7 points to my 6. And I'm a little concerned about what I'm bringing to the table, because although you'll know the show that it's related to, and this is actually a sci-fi related thing for once, I don't think you'll remember the products. And the reason I'm saying that is because I used to buy this on, I don't think it was weekly. Whatever the basis was, Mum used to let me buy it. And I've looked back at this one now and just realising I don't think Mum fully understood what this was, because we were allowed to watch Red Dwarf. Even when I was really small, I watched Red Dwarf.
Yeah, so did I, yeah.
And no one ever flagged it as a problem. To be fair, it isn't that problematic. There was no major swearing in it. It was just it was a brilliant bloody show. And no doubt we'll talk about that later when we talk about sci-fi things. But what I'm bringing to the table was made by 2000 AD. So that's the comic book people, the people that made Judge Dredd.
Yeah, okay.
And while I'm just getting it out of the bag, can you describe what the Judge Dredd comic books are like?
Yeah, they're a bit adult, gory from what I remember. Yeah. What are you going to be showing me?
Enjoy a copy of the Red Dwarf's magazine.
I am the law. Red Dwarf's magazine. Okay. Did they use smeg in the same way that I know smeg to mean?
I'm pretty sure that's what it meant.
Yeah, because that went over my dad's head too.
Yeah, it went over my head as a child until I knew what it meant. But
postcard time again.
But yeah, that is a copy of the Red Dwarf's magazine. It's even got the original postcard still on it. And it was done by 2000 AD. And the comics inside it, feel free to open it up and have a look.
Remember, he's such a git, it says on the front.
I know, it's great, isn't it? I'm absolutely not precious about this, but the person that sent it to me in one of those comic book covers, because it was labelled as mint condition. I really don't care. But when you look at the cartoons inside, you'll realise how violent, and it's straight up artwork out of kind of the Judge Dredd style.
Oh wow, it is, isn't it? Straight away.
Yeah, and even the violence is in there as well. Compared to what you got on the TV show, the violence is quite high in this magazine.
I just trying to remember my favourite Red Dwarf episode is Rimmerworld.
That is a great episode.
And I also really like when he dies and they do the roller coaster ride.
Oh yes.
I'm trying to remember the song now in my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it, but if I can find it,
maybe we could play that after this as the outro.
Yeah, we'll do that as the outro as we go into the taste test.
Because that is super. And they got all the like Rimmer's heads on the little bodies.
But if we're going to talk about favourite episode, I still think probably the earlier seasons are my favourite. I didn't like, I think it must have been season 8 when they first brought it back for Dave, when they end up going back and the ship's been rebuilt and everyone's alive again.
Yep.
Wasn't blown away with that, but apparently the last couple of seasons have been really, really good.
I haven't watched any of the newer ones because I watched, I think, the first season of when they did bring it back, and I was like, it's all right.
Yeah. But
I did also hear they did a few more and they did get good.
Yeah, apparently, not just apparently, just the one that I saw. As I say, I think it's season 8 onwards. But season 8, everyone just it didn't hit home like the original few series did. And then these new ones, I've watched a few of them and they've been okay. But again, everyone feels a bit old and it just feels a bit lost.
They're all a bit old, yeah.
But compared to, as I say, my favourite episode, it's got to be something like Backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Backwards and Polymorph.
Yep, both really good
Polymorph
episodes.
is probably
Polymorph is a good one.
Just give Peas a chance, and just everything like that's just wonderful. And Backwards, just nod and hold. Oh, that's Polish, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. It is good.
It's a great episode.
So, do I remember this? I recognise the cards. I've got to admit, I recognise the cards. Like they were hanging around at my house, maybe saying, but I do not have any recollection.
in that
of,
case,
of
then I don't
the,
get...
of the Red Dwarfs
I'm
magazine.
not going to be upset by that. I'm not going to get points. So that's going to mean that you stay 7-6 in the lead. This magazine is a wonderful thing. And if someone online, good old eBay, is selling a DVD with them all as PDF, I will order it because it's only about a tenner. And I'll remember rereading them through. But yeah, they were just very brutal. And if you look at the date on it, around the barcode, I think.
It just says number 2, June, £1.50.
Oh, does it only say June?
At the top left, not in the barcode then.
Oh, fair enough. Because I reckon it was about 92, 93. So I would have only been 8 or 9 years old at the time.
And you had this, yeah.
And yeah, there was no questions. It was just Red Dwarf. We watched Red Dwarf at home. So yeah, we'll let you buy it.
Yeah. My dad would watch Red Dwarf occasionally with me. Oh, Philip's on his way.
Hi, Chris.
So, yeah, my dad would watch Red Dwarf with me occasionally, and he would enjoy it as well. And I don't, even though he's watching it, I'm surprised that he still continues to let me watch it. We talk about it every now and again. Now he brings it up, saying what drivel it was. Is what he would say.
Oh, it was a good show. As I say, early seasons are the best ones.
Speaking of my old man.
Oh,
Send you a text, didn't I?
Oh, what a picture. What a picture I got. Rob's dad sat on the sofa enjoying the Enter Sandman music video on a ridiculously large TV.
Yeah, on the Kerrang channel.
No, I love it. I just, having met your dad and seen your dad out and about, is so unassuming. I would never have guessed that he would sit there watching Kerrang.
Look at the room as well. The perfectly kept cream carpets, clean walls, wooden furniture.
Yeah, you're expecting the sofa to have Scotch Guard on, that sort of thing.
There's probably a doily somewhere, you know. And there he is, Kerrang.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, should we get into having a taste of something?
Yeah, I could do with some chocolate.
Chocolat. Well, enjoy the Rimmer World song. Not the Rimmer World song, the Rimmer's Death song anyway, and we'll be back in a moment.
If you're in trouble, he will save the day. He's brave and he's fearless, come what may. Without him the mission would go astray. He's Arnold, Arnold Rimmer. Without him life would be much grimmer. He's handsome, trim, and no one slimmer. He will never need a Zimmer. He's Arnold, Rimmer, more reliable than a garden trimmer. He's never been mistaken for your grinner. He's not bald and his head doesn't glimmer. Master of the wit and the repartee, his command of space directives is uncanny. How come he's such a genius? Don't ask me. Arnold Rimmer, he's also a fantastic swimmer. And if you play your cards right, then he just might come around for dinner.
Taste time. And we still don't have a theme song for this. Last week I stuck the Dr. Pepper song in. This week you just got the Rimmer one because that's what we wanted to play. So we'll work out something for it, just like when Rob has enough time in his life to do the theme tune for the next
The computer
section.
isn't even plugged in.
I keep joking about these things, but honestly, Rob is so busy at the moment. We're lucky we're even recording, so we will get theme songs done for this at some point and for the next section. Just bear with us and just enjoy the random crap that I throw in there for the time being.
I really enjoyed the Blame Canada.
Blame Canada!
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I was so glad it was the whole thing too.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, it's like Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. I thought I'd only put half of that in. It's like, no, I put the whole thing in.
Yeah.
Excuse the coughing. Right, so today we are tasting a Lion Bar that is white chocolate this time, which I'm intrigued about. Not that Paul listens, but white chocolate is delicious, Paul. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, he doesn't like white chocolate?
No, he called me a knob.
He called you a knob?
He called me a knob.
Is this in person?
On Twitter, because I put up a picture tagging them of McVitie's white digestives. Oh, they're lovely.
I haven't tried one. The builder had a pack of those, didn't share one with me.
Yeah, I got told off
But he
by
had
the
one at
wife.
home.
I ate the entire pack, and she said,
And
well, where are they? I've eaten them.
His critique was there's not enough chocolate on it.
And they're also a third smaller than a
Yeah.
normal digestive.
That was his critique.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
the builder John, who literally ate a whole pack of custard creams the other day as his breakfast.
Nice. So I've just cracked open there. You might have heard the strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper that we're tasting.
So this is the one that I said last week, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. That's for the ASMR lovers out there.
That's a nice little bit of Foley
It's
there.
not the way you're supposed to pour fizzy drinks.
No, but it sounds
As
good.
an ex-barman, you should know that.
But oh my god, the huff on that straight away. Whew.
Wow, okay, that smells...
It's not real
incredibly
strawberry. It
sweet.
smells strawberry and it smells sweet, but
Oh.
it doesn't smell like real strawberry.
I just want to say, because that reminds me of what was
The
said,
bananas.
good stuff we had on Twitter. Thank you, everybody that interacted with us after last pod. It's so brilliant when everyone's interacting. I absolutely love it. And I know I was just, being a bit of a knobhead last week about the whole Pokemon thing. And I was mean to Karen, so sorry, Karen.
Down at the bottom of the garden.
I'm only messing around.
Rob's crying on his own.
But it was so good having all of those people respond. And I learned a lot about bananas.
Yeah, and then Shell, who got stuck in a German house, then pointed out that it's just all to do with the chemicals of it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. You never knew that.
Well, there you go.
So thank you again, everyone.
What we have is Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream. It smells a lot like strawberry, but it also smells a lot like fake strawberry, I guess. It smells very
It
sweet.
smells like a very sweet strawberry with a hint of Dr. Pepper in the background.
Now, I'll tell you what it reminds me of, and I'm not going to lie, I had a can of this the other day because I thought I'm going to give it a try, and then I thought, actually, I'll go and buy another one and we'll do it on the podcast as well. When I tasted it, it reminded me of a certain product that the King Harry, another pub local to us, used to sell. And I'm intrigued to get what your thoughts are on it.
This one.
This does, yes. So let's have our little sippy sips. Rob's had his little sippy sip.
Well, the smell is a lot stronger than the taste.
Yeah, the smell is a lot stronger in every single way. It really overpowers it. In fact, almost, I would say that the smell puts me off a little bit compared to the taste.
So what was the flavour last week? Or
Last week was cherry vanilla, wasn't it? Yes, it was cherry vanilla.
And I said that tastes like cream soda.
It just kind of tastes like cream soda or just Dr. Pepper. It was very, very underpowered, the flavour.
I almost feel like this tastes very similar to that. It must be the cream they're doing.
It must be, but I would say this has a hell of it. You can definitely taste the strawberry this time.
You can taste the strawberry. It's the smell. It smells completely different than the other one.
True. Now, keep drinking it. Have a nice big mouthful and
He's
rinse
going to
it.
find out he's done something to it.
I haven't done anything to it. Now sleep. Enjoy it. Rinse it around your mouth and get that taste. And then I'll tell you what at least the aftertaste reminds me of.
It's making my teeth feel very fluffy.
Well, that's the thing. These are American, so they are full of
Can
sugar.
I guess what you're going to say? Of
course you can.
It tastes a bit like Jägermeister.
No. Although, I get what you're saying. No. It reminds me of Fruly.
Yeah.
Strawberry beer, for those of the uninitiated.
No,
They
I would
used to be
never
highly
take- yeah.
expensive. It was like a strawberry lager milkshake, basically. You could only ever have one glass of it because it was so sickly. And the aftertaste of this reminds me very much of that beer.
I only ever tried it when you guys ever had it. I never would buy it.
Oh,
So
I drank a fair few pints of it at the Harry, but as I said, that was back when expensive pints were because it was a novelty or a weird beer, not
Yeah.
just a high prices now. Because it was like, and this 10, 15 years ago, it was like a $5 a pint.
Yeah.
It was not cheap, but it was tasty.
Carlings are probably a $5 a pint now. When was the last time we
don't.
went to a pub and brought lager?
But I've tried the banana one of it as well, and that was disgusting.
But Fruly, I bet it was.
Well, I don't like banana.
Fake banana or no original banana or new banana?
I wouldn't have
Because
a
I
clue.
can't say
'cause
fake
I don't-
banana taste now. Old or new banana?
Old or new banana?
You don't eat bananas.
The quiz show.
Yeah, you don't eat bananas. So I seem to always stop at the service station or something on the way here, and I was like, oh, you know what I haven't had in ages? A pepperami, and there was one right there, and it was like super hot flavour, and I was like, oh, maybe you'll see if TJ wants to share this with me and have a little taste. And I ate it and I end up eating nothing. So I haven't got it with me. So, yeah. Do you like pepperonis?
I've never eaten a pepperami.
This is the first one I've had since probably when I was at primary school. I might have had them last time.
Yeah, I remember kids having them in the packed lunch. And there's an episode idea I'd like to do at some point. The best and the worst adverts that we can remember.
Yep.
And I remember the pepperami adverts when they came out.
Yeah,
and in
they
fact,
were quite
he got
cool,
a game
those.
as well, didn't he?
Game?
The pepperami sausage got a game.
Did he?
Yeah, I think it was a Doom clone.
Oh, because I remember Cool Spot.
Yeah, Cool Spot from 7-Up. He got
that was a
one.
good game.
It was a
And
very good
I've
game.
got
Mega
the,
Drive,
The
if I remember
McDonald's
right.
game
What,
on the Mega Drive.
Oh, which one? Because there were several. McDonald Land?
Okay,
or...
no, none of those. It's on the Mega Drive. It's these two kids that shoot blood guns. I'll have to find out the name of it. I've got it at home.
Oh, I'll play it on my... I can't remember what it's called. An RP3 Plus.
Your Retroid.
Yeah,
I
my
don't
Retroid.
know if I have it on my Retroid.
It must be on there.
Yeah, I've never looked.
Oh, we'll have to have a look at that. But fine.
It's a really good one anyway.
Out of 5, then, what do you score Dr. Pepper
Out of
Strawberries and
6,
Cream?
between 2
Oh,
and
out of 6. 2 and 6.
2.4 and 6 is the score, isn't it?
God, he's anal.
I would give it... I'm just going to give it another quick... I don't think it's very good.
I don't think it's... But I wouldn't go out and choose this.
I'm going to give it a 3-point Wimbledon.
A 3-point Wimbledon.
Yeah, strawberries and cream Wimbledon.
Oh.
3-point Wimbledon.
I'm going for a 2.8 and a Womble then.
2.8 and Womble. Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's definitely accurate. God. I mean, you couldn't have a more accurate scoring system than our system. Let's move on then to
Still waiting for that Excel.
You are not going to get a
chart.
visualization.
Someone will
of
do
our
it for me one
score.
day. Someone will do it for
When
me.
we're big and famous,
Yeah.
Microsoft, good old Bill Gates will say, boys,
Himself.
I've added in an option under the pie charts for your scoring system. It crashes 90% of the PCs it runs on. It requires XP and it's bought Clippy back, but it'll work. Right, you can catch this. There you go. There's your...
Oh, you've brought a duo.
Of course I bought a duo, but can I just point out, this will be the 3rd week running now. We've had a poo-shaped chocolate bar, but this is just white dog poo that you don't see on the streets anymore.
No, I've said on a previous podcast that white chocolate gives me a sore throat.
Oh dear.
So, I don't know if I like the smell of it. Now, I love Lion bars, and I do actually like white chocolate. I just don't eat it much because of the sore throat thing. I don't know if somebody could tell me why I get sore throats when I eat white chocolate. Maybe I'm allergic to it.
Well, I'm enjoying it at the moment. I'm having a little crunchy crunch. Again, sorry for all the people that this is absolutely hurting. It doesn't hurt me more than it hurts you, but when I have to listen back to it, it will.
The white chocolate is so weak, you can barely taste it.
Yeah, if you turned off the light and gave me that and just said that was a Lion bar, I would
I'd give you
I
that
would say
kind of
it was a Lion bar that had been left in the sun and it had got that kind of gone that whitish colouring where the chocolate started to change.
You know what this tastes like, TJ? A Lion bar with no chocolate on it.
Yeah, yeah, no,
I really like Lion bars. This isn't a very good chocolate bar.
it's not good at all compared
Because-
to the brownie last week. Now that was
off the charts.
that was top tier.
Mate, you think it's the best chocolate bar ever created by the score you gave it.
No. I dropped it down just in case.
Isn't it between 2 and 6.4, not 2.4 and 6?
No, it's 2.4 and 6. I'm
Right.
sure it was 2.4 and 6. Does it matter?
What do you mean it doesn't matter? Oh my God, I'm glad I sat down when you said that. Oh my gosh.
All right, no, I'm coming straight out with that one. It's a 2.4.
It's a 2 point, where's the taste?
What is the point of that chocolate bar? It's a disappointment.
A 2 point Willy Wonka would be ashamed of you.
Yeah. That's probably as good as the new Willy Wonka film's going to be.
With the kid from Dune,
Oh, is it?
Chamonix.
I've
I can't say his name. Really attractive young man. I can't remember his name. Timothy Chamonix. That's it.
I've watched the advert and thought this looks dire.
I don't like Willy Wonka. So
why would you have Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa?
I'm scared of it. So
You're scared of it.
give me nightmares when I was a kid. The bit where the girl inflates and purple when she eats that.
On the original film, I will not have a word said against it.
No,
It's a
scared
wonderful film.
Scared me. Still don't like it now. That bit, and I'm sorry, but it's a film about killing children. Stage 1. Stage 2. Why is that old man pretending to be ill, sleeping in a bed with all those kids?
We have seen there's other adults and children. It's an orgy, but yeah, I've seen the tits of it. He is a benefit thief, basically.
Yeah. And he seems completely fine when he's drinking that juice and flying up to the sky. He seems totally happy there.
He's perfectly fine to walk around the whole sodding studio tour, isn't he? There you go. He's walking all the way around it without any problem.
And that tunnel. Oh, the tunnel with the scorpion and all kinds of stuff going on. It's awful.
I'm guessing as a child my brain blocked that one out.
No,
because
it all sunk into me. I used to close my eyes when she inflated.
having rewatched it and gone, no, someone's dubbed that over, and then seeing it, because holy shit, this is crazy.
That was in it the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. Kay loves it.
Hated it. Still hate it now. I've seen a Johnny Depp one and I was freaked out by the way he played
I hated
him.
that one. Awful. Should never have been made.
I was never going to like it because I don't like Willy Wonka. So I knew I was never going to like it. But I like Johnny Depp, which is why I watched it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, well, there you go. You've learnt something new, listeners. Rob is scared of Willy Wonka.
I'm scared of the girl inflating to purple, going through tunnels filled with horrific mental images of scorpions and killing children. They're my fears.
I'm surprised no one's ever gone back to that video clip, stripped out, because there's talented people out there, get rid of all those videos that's going on in the background, all the nastiness, and then replaced it with even nastier stuff like A Clockwork Orange.
I bet they bloody have. I bet they have.
If they haven't, watch this space.
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh, well, so 2 things that didn't really score very well this week then.
I really like Lion Bars. Lion Bars are generally a 5-point raw for me. That's awful.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not good at all. I have got one more thing, but we could leave that until the next episode. Just thinking that we've got a lot to talk about sci-fi, and if there's other things that you want to catch up on. But just to give you a little teaser of what that is for next episode then, I have a candy Durham Donor. Doner? Doner.
Yeah, let's do that next week.
So it's basically a fake doner kebab made out of, if you remember those Builder burgers, it's that, but a doner kebab version.
Oh, I was really hoping it was actually going to be a real kebab wrap.
I was hoping there'd be a real wrap in there, but no, it is just cardboard.
Oh, what a shame. I was disappointed.
Yeah, I would like a nice gummy wrap or something for you to wrap it up in. Would have been lovely. But they had this big tray on holiday as well. It was a good A4 size tray. That was sushi.
Ah.
Which would look really cool, but that was like 12 quid. It's like, no, I'm not spending that much on it. Okay, well, let's jump over then to the Channel 84 Variety Nostalgic Kids Show Knockout.
Take a breath.
Clever inventions, you know his intentions to help whenever he can. If you want something sorted like enemies thwarted, then Albert's your man. His name is Albert. Albert. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. He's there at the double whenever there's trouble with wood and string and stuff. The things that he makes are just what it takes whenever the going gets rough. His name is Albert. Albert. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. He's sharp, he's cool, he's nobody's fool. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. If you've been dropped in it, he's there in a minute. That's faithful Albert's way. He's got no pretension, just lots of inventions that always save the day. Hooray for Albert! Albert! He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer. He's sharp, he's cool. He rides on the mule. He's Albert the Fifth Musketeer.
Oh, wow, I actually managed to peak it.
Oh, did that record? Did that record?
It recorded after you, Rob.
You can put that at the end. Yeah,
No, I'm just leaving it where it is.
Anyone listening and he doesn't put that at the end, tell him. Put that at the end next time. Welcome to the Channel 84 Variety Nostalgic Kids Show Knockout. Ding, 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 woo, woo. Right, if you remember last week, we did 2 groups. The Group C and Group D. Group C was Johnny Bravo versus Round the Bend. And Johnny Bravo lost, rightly so, to Round the Bend. So Round the Bend went through.
Feel the anger.
Something happened between Pokemon and Puddington Peas. I don't remember what happened. Group D, Captain Planet lost to Raccoons.
And that was a tough one, to be fair, because we
Yeah.
both liked Captain Planet. I know that you preferred it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the public vote was the Raccoons, but I agree, Captain Planet was bloody awesome. So it does get a favourable mention, it just doesn't make it through.
Well, we can all agree Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles beat Clarissa Explains It All,
Oh, God, yeah.
thankfully.
Now, that brings us then on to Group E.
Group E, and the first ones we're going to be talking about is Doug versus Albert the Fist Musketeer.
Well done,
He's
because so
he's
many
cool.
people
He's
I've
nobody's
spoken
fool.
to have said Albert the Fifth. No, it's Albert.
Albert. Yeah.
Now, this is an odd one, really, because Doug, I can't remember what channel. I'm pretty sure that was Channel 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Doug was Channel 4.
It was Channel 4, and it was only shown at, like, the weekend. It wasn't shown during the week. And it had a great theme tune. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Why that can come to mind so readily as well.
I don't know. Doug's up there with Arthur. They're in the same part of my brain, Doug and Arthur, for some reason. Not because they're both the same quality. I think they must have been out at the same time, maybe.
Yeah,
or they were
and
shown on the same show.
It was out at the same time as well. So for me, Doug is in the same part of my brain that Rocco's Modern Life is in.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Modern Life. Yeah, it's that. It was all that sort. And again, I think Rocco was Channel 4 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What was their show then? They must have just done Nickelodeon stuff.
They must
Because
have
they're all
done.
Nickelodeon. So
Yeah, I presume so. Yeah, because they had the Secret Life of Alec Mack, or
Yeah.
Alex Mack, if you remember that.
Yeah,
That was
I remember
Channel
that
4.
one, yeah.
Erie, Indiana.
yes,
What a show! I've got
Yeah.
the DVD of that. It's brilliant.
I'm just looking at pictures of Doug here, trying to remember the was Patty Mayonnaise? Patty Mayonnaise.
Yeah, was it Patty? I can't remember what his dog was
Skeeter.
called.
Are these like euphemisms for naughty stuff? Patty Mayonnaise and Skeeter sound really ropey to me.
What, like Patty's mayonnaise? Oh no!
Yeah. I'm just gonna see what the other characters were called while we're talking here. Yeah, Mosquito Skeeter, Patty Mayonnaise, Roger M. Klotz.
It was that era of cartoon because you could put it in the same genre almost as Beavis and Butthead, Daria.
Yeah. As an adult, I think some of these might be funny. His dad was called Phil Funny.
Nice.
The mum was called Theda Funny.
Oh no.
There's Tippy Dink here. They all just sound a little bit on the edge.
Something's yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you had Doug. That was Channel 4. I'm almost certain that was Channel 4.
Yeah, I think all of the Nickelodeon stuff might have been Channel 4. They wouldn't have been the BBC.
No, I mean, the only other channel it would have been CITV, and I'm almost certain it wasn't CITV. So I'm going to stick with Doug and all of those shows that might come up or might not come up later. Must have been Channel 4. And that was where it was odd, wasn't it? Because they basically showed cartoons 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And Doug just felt like that sort of afternoon show. It felt like a show that should have been on like CITV after school. And that's why I'm really struggling to think, was it on CITV as well? I can't remember.
Did you like it?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I don't really have fond memories of it, but I don't have negative memories of it. I would have watched it.
I remember the bully. He's kind of sound like
Green skin, red hair, always went round in a leather jacket.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What was that guy's name?
That was Skeeter, wasn't it?
No, Skeeter was his best
friend.
mate.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Roger M. Klotz. What was his name?
Roger, yes, that was it. Roger. Another one that it kind of always reminds me of, Hey Arnold.
Yeah. Hey Arnold, because she
Hey,
had
football head.
Yeah, she had the shrine to him in her wardrobe.
Yes.
Remember?
Holger.
Yes.
Yes, it was Holger, wasn't it?
Excuse me.
No. Right, I'm just looking here. List of previous CITV shows, and Doug isn't listed, so it must have been Channel 4 then. Oh, D'Artagnan and the Three Muskehounds. Rob's looking lost at the moment.
It's D'Artagnan, I remember. I don't remember it being called the Three Muskehounds.
It was D'Artagnan and the Three Muskehounds.
That
That was the
D'Artagnan
subtitle.
I'm remembering. I was having a brain fart there.
That was the subtitle. Okay, so we've got Doug, and that's gone up against Albert, the Fifth Musketeer.
I don't know if it's just because I really like the theme tune to Albert that I remember it.
It was a much more fun cartoon.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the difference between the two shows. Albert was pure old stupid fun comedy.
Yeah.
Whereas Doug was really aimed at those entering or just in their mid-teens. It wasn't aimed at kids to enjoy. It was aimed at children going into that horrible time of their life where spots, girlfriends, and all that sort of crap matters.
I'm trying to. I think I kind of remember the Albert intro with him running around, being on a horse or something. I've got fonder memories of Albert than I do of Doug.
Well, you will have heard Albert the Fifth Musketeer as we enter into this section anyway. I'll make sure that is the first song that plays. I'd say I've probably got more fond memories of Albert the Fifth Musketeer than I do of Doug.
Yeah.
So are we saying that Albert's through?
Yeah, Albert for me.
And if we look at Twitter, out of the 13 people that voted, Albert won.
Oh my gosh, we're all in agreement.
We are all in agreement for once. With
It's close, but look at that chart.
53.8% of the 13 people went with Albert, and 46.2% went with Doug. And actually, has Chris just finished?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Because I can't hear it on the headphones. Not that the listeners
Jacques
ever
has just
hear.
finished.
Had a message from Tom going, I don't. My old colleague that listens to the show is like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I only listen with one headphone in, but I can never hear the noises you're talking about. Yeah, they're not in the end episode. We do quite a good job of mentioning them, but they never make it through onto the audio recording.
I
So
like
it does
people
sound like
thinking
we
we're
are all
insane.
insane.
Yeah. But I like that.
Oh yeah, I do. Okay, what is our next match in Group E then?
Rosie and Jim.
Rosie and Jim knobbing each other off on the old canal boat.
No, chugging along on the old rag doll. Thank you very much. Versus
I get in
Sooty.
trouble so much every day because T will have his songs on and I'm there singing horrendous lyrics to it and I get told off so much for it.
I've got to tell you, changing words to songs is one of my purest joys.
Oh God, snap.
I love making up new
Yes,
words for
thank
songs.
you.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I do it in front of him and he's doing it that echolalious phase of his life. So he's starting to copy, so I'm having to be careful with
Yeah.
what I say now.
and I love also when you mishear song lyrics and then they get in your head and then you make other people start hearing them because you tell them. Oh, there's a very specific garage tune which now I can't remember because we're talking about it. Well, I'll remember it for next time.
I got 21 seconds to go.
No, I know the words to that, unfortunately.
You sad
I
bastard.
think, you know what it is? I brought the single and I had it on repeat on the aeroplane on CD, back when CDs, everyone was buying them, and I left it on repeat and I fell asleep. And those things where they say, you know, playing music to you when you're asleep, I know the words to a lot of it now, which is quite depressing.
That's his excuse anyway.
It's not a
boys and
brag,
girls.
unfortunately. It's one of those things that's taking up
Okay, let's
real estate in my
let's
brain.
see if he knows the next lyrics to this one. Baby cakes.
You just don't know. Oh. Come on, hit me up with some more garage music. I was 16 once, you know.
Oh,
Bring you flowers in the pouring rain.
oh dear, dear, Rob.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh, my sweet child.
Yeah. I didn't really get into rock music till I was older.
No, that's fair. You know, it's good to enjoy a whole variety of music. That's what all I care about now. Anyway, back to this. So we've got Rosie and Jim knobbing on the old rag doll, and then we've got Sooty, the maniacal bear that only one man can understand, and eventually his friends who only one of those we can understand.
I got to straight off the cuff. I watched both of them.
It's tough, isn't it?
I think Sooty is probably better.
Oh God!
I just do remember. I remember the intro to Rosie and Jim more. I think it's because I would watch the intro and then skip it. But I would watch the intro because they're saying about this silly little thing, and then little Cabbage Patch face looking dolls.
So it's the same era as Tots TV, and there's two things from these shows that I remember. You've got
23,
Rosie and Jim, which is da 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 da. hello, duck, quack.
Oh yeah, the duck on the front of the boat.
And then from Tots TV, it's our
I'm
friend Donkey.
Yeah, I'm a tot and she's a tot. Teeny Tom and Tiny. We're the tots from Tots TV. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Oh, God. Or Le Sac Magie.
Oh yeah.
Fuck
oh,
off,
gosh,
Tilly.
Shut up.
Unless you've got a half gram of coke in there, go away. Oh, they were such annoying. We will get to Tots TV as well at some point, but I'm gonna go with Sooty just because I grew up with Sooty as Sooty.
Mm-hmm.
Then it became, as we grew older, Sooty and Co. Which was still Matthew Corbett at that point. I didn't grow up with his dad doing Sooty.
No.
I always knew it as Matthew Corbett.
Yeah.
And then whatever his name is took it over. And I must admit, that was past the age that I would have cared about it. I've just got a very fond spot for Sooty. I've rewatched a load of the old episodes over this past year, and there's just something nice about it.
I prefer Sooty. Sooty wins for me. And also, I really enjoyed the video you made.
Oh, God, yeah.
So people need to look up. Is it on the Channel 84?
It's on my YouTube as the beginning to me playing the terrible ZX Spectrum Sooty game. Yeah. You only need to watch the first 30 seconds to understand what's going on, but I'll put it back up on TikTok as well. And I'll post it on good old Twitter as well. I nearly called it X for a moment. Jeez.
It's a wonderful sketch. Wonderful little skit that you
I
did.
am tempted to do another one, seeing we've now found the Sue and the Sweep dolls.
Oh, wicked fun.
It could be a terrible, terrible thing I do of that. But the public agree with us again. 80%...
Can I join in?
Of course you can.
I loved the other one. I think it's absolute genius.
Yeah, no, of course you can. Damn right. You can join in any time you want.
We're talking about the puppets.
Are we? Oh. Sooty and Co got 80% of the votes on this one.
Yeah,
Rosie and Jim only got 20%, and that's out of 15 people this time.
The thing is, now we know the age of the listener. Rosie and Jim isn't the age of the listener.
No.
It's not. Sooty and Sweet would have been. Firstly.
Absolutely.
But even without that, Sooty and Sweet was a better show.
See, even growing up, though, even getting to the point that I shouldn't have been watching Sooty and Co, I still enjoyed watching it every now and then. And I still remember we were at a family friends in the Malvern Hills, and we'd had a day of walking in the hills, which is always good fun. And then we went back, and they had this huge property. It was like across 4 floors. It had a shop on the first floor. They had this wine cellar, this huge garden. Then they had 2 or 3 floors above that as well. And they had this big front room, and they had the TV, and I remember it got to it must have been 3:30, I think, because that was the typical time it would have come on. And me and my older brother ran down to watch Sooty and Co. Mm-hmm. Not because it was Sooty and Co it was on, but because there'd been the whole newspaper uproar that there was an episode coming where Sooty gets Sue pregnant.
Oh, what?
I know, it's crazy. And the entire episode is Sue going around pretending she is pregnant.
Yeah.
And then pulling out little panda babies out of herself as a joke. And it was like caused uproar.
Yeah, that's quite funny.
It was legendary. It was amazing. But yeah, I still remember going down and watching that specific episode just because it had been in the paper so much.
Yeah, how weird.
It was very weird. I don't know why they would have chosen to do that one. I think Matthew Corbett basically, this is my friend. She's pregnant. And so he's like, oh, I wish I could have babies. It's like, this isn't appropriate. Yeah. I know she's like probably 40 years old at this point, but she's a glove puppet that's never going to age, but still.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? Sooty or Sweep? Or Matthew?
Oh, God, yeah. It's like that Rainbow episode where they...
Oh, do you want to play with my twanger?
Yeah, that's it. That's a good
1
episode.
skin, 2 skin, 3 skin, 4... Oh, bungle! Hello, George. Oh, that's... You know where that episode came from, though, don't you? It was a spoof episode they recorded for the Christmas tapes, as they got called.
Oh, okay.
There was... for a period of time, this is a really bad history of it, so it's worth going and investigating. The video department would basically take all the offcuts of the failed recordings and publish them at Christmas at the Christmas party. So they put the bloopers up as a Christmas thing.
So an internal.
And then slowly, and this was at ITV, and then slowly but surely, it got more and more. And then, yeah, they suddenly people started recording purposefully stupid things.
Yeah.
And then the BBC started sending them footage. And that's the kind of where It'll Be All Right on the Night came from. That's what spawned that show. That was a great show, by the way. They're on YouTube, well worth watching. You just don't get anything like that anymore, which is really disappointing. I loved those sort of Tarrant on TV, you Nate, those sort of things where you got to see really random or outtakes. Just funny.
Is Chris Tarrant still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay.
I don't know if he's been cancelled or
I was just
if
wondering,
he's just
has he been
disappeared.
cancelled? Yeah.
I know he's not particularly liked as a human being, but I don't know if he'd actually done something to warrant going off TV.
He was the guy on Capital, right?
He was on Capital. He was
The
the one
Drive
that
Home on Capital.
he did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire originally in the UK,
Yes,
which
yeah.
was taken over by Clarkson, which again is a
Yes.
baffling move.
Well, you know.
Yeah, well, you know what? As normal, we're probably going to be running into the hours already, and we haven't even got to the main topic. So that's your lot on the Channel 84 Variety Nostalgia Kids Show Knockout.
The Channel 84 Variety Nostalgic Kids Show Knockout.
I'm really fucked up saying that as well. Let's leave with the theme of Sooty and Co. because the original Sooty. So actually, no, I don't know. Whichever one I put in, enjoy that now.
Hey ho, it's Sooty and Co. Everybody say hello. There's Sooty and Sweep, a panda called Sue, little cousin Scampy too. There'll be fun galore with the terrible four. Just you wait and see. It's Sooty and Company. Sooty and Company.
So, Rob, this is your choice of a discussion point, so take it away.
I wanted, because I've been missing talking about Star Trek and missing actually watching any Star Trek. I just thought it'd be a good idea if we just had a little chat about sci-fi that we like, particularly stuff that we think the other person may not have been familiar with.
Is there anything but Star Trek?
This is the Donatello scenario, isn't it?
You did
What? This is a funny conversation about Star Trek. I don't remember this happening in Star Trek.
Star War?
I wasn't even gonna mention
Star
Star Wars.
Trek? Stargate? No,
Stargate's really good.
I love Stargate.
Yeah, Stargate's
SG-1
great.
is
Yeah,
amazing.
SG-1's fantastic.
Atlantis I thought was a bit pony, but Stargate SG-1, I loved it.
top
I
tier.
watched that from day one when it came out
Yeah,
on
the
Channel
wife
4.
did, yeah.
Again, Channel 4, classic show for them.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. What I really want to talk about, because
Open up with what? Yeah, open up with this because
the real one is there's a book series that I listen to. I don't ever really read. I'm very good at reading, but so I listen to all of my books on Audible.
and I'm learning to enjoy that actually. As I'm enjoying doing it too, because I've never bothered with Audible. I never kind of got the whole point. You pay £10 a month and basically you can get one book. But then of course I didn't realise that most books are like 14 hours of audio. So it's like okay, so that is a kind of month's worth of listening.
I've got one that's 40 hours long. A book that's 40 hours long, so it took a long time to listen to.
And that was only one credit, was it?
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. So because it's one credit, and because the credits are $10.99 or whatever, they're less than a book. So if you know, say for example, like the book I'm going to talk about, there's 6 books. Well, rather than the first one's free if you subscribe, but if you were going to buy each book, well, each book costs more than a token. So it could, if you knew only one book would take you a month, or you can wait, you just sign up for 6 months.
Yeah, fair enough. And I'm in the same ballpark as you. I don't read. I don't enjoy it. I don't get lost in it. I don't get really enveloped into it very much. There's an occasional book. I think my favourite all-time book is Day of the Triffids, and I could read that over and over again.
Yeah.
Or things like oh crap, I can't even think of its name now. Oh, that's terrible. It's a brilliant book as well. It's the one where they all get stranded on an island as kids, and I actually can't think of the name.
Don't know that.
Oh, it's a horribly brutal book, and it will make you really go, I feel really bad for Piggy. But
yeah, there's one trilogy on here that is actually a book I read when I was on holiday. But it's
Lord of the Flies.
Lord
Sorry,
of the
there
Flies,
you go.
That's it, yeah. So the 6th book out of what's going to be 7 that I know of just came out. It's by an author called Pierce Brown, and it's called the Red Rising. Well, the original was called Red Rising Trilogy, but it's the Red Rising group of books.
Okay.
And to me, outside of Star Trek, this is the best sci-fi, in my opinion, out of anything. And if you'll know as we go through this, I've got a lot of sci-fi audio audible, and this, honestly, I think is fantastic. The only caveat I would say to the whole thing is book 1 you haven't got there yet in book 1.
No,
but
no.
book 1 can feel a bit like the Mockingjay books, which I always call it that, like Hunger Games. So that first Hunger Game book, the first book kind of falls a bit tropey with that, and you will understand exactly what I mean when you get to it. Get past the first one, and suddenly the whole universe of the book opens up. Okay. And it gets so in-depth sci-fi. The only way I can really describe it is it's got the intrigue and inter-house politics of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
With the brutality that Game of Thrones does with murdering people, of a character beloved can very suddenly not be in the book anymore.
Right, okay.
But all in space.
Yeah, I'm getting the idea that it is a very
no
brutal
aliens
book.
Too. It's humans. We're not fucking around. It's humans in the Milky Way. You know,
it's humans treating other humans like shit. We've gone back
Yes.
to Amistad days, basically.
Yeah.
We're talking full on slavery of the lower classes to do what the upper classes want.
So essentially, without spoiling for him, because I'm telling you, I've got a whole list of them here. This is one out of anything I'm going to speak to today. This is the one I think people should read or listen to. Apparently, it might be getting turned into some TV show in a few years' time. Maybe. I don't know how good that will be, because it's so sprawling when you get into it. I don't know how they manage it. But
the problem is they won't manage it, and that's what is the problem with all of these book to film or TV series. And Jem has said the same thing about things like The Handmaid's Tale and various other of her really favourite all-time books. She said part of her sometimes wishes she hadn't watched the film or the TV adaptation after reading it, because they just lose so much of what is created in the book.
Yeah. So
I kind of see what you're saying with that one, because just so everyone, Rob basically very kindly gifted me the first 3 of the first 3 books of that series to try and get me onto Audible. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm only 4 hours in at the moment, and again, we won't ruin it for you, but the main character in this book, and I'm guessing he may not remain the main character throughout all 6 books, is Darrow, and he's had a bit of a rough time, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And he's kind of gone through. I'm trying to think of what it brings to mind, but there's Elysium. If anyone has seen Elysium as a film, which is a brilliant film, he's kind of gone through that traumatic bit that Matt Damon goes through when they screw the machinery onto him.
Yeah.
He's basically gone through in this book. He's gone through horrendous, torturous body modification to make him like a upper class person, and it's brutal.
Basically, the whole of human society has been turned into a caste system of a pyramid, and they class you by colour, not the colour of your skin, but each role in society has a colour, the lowest being red. And red are essentially the working of working class. In this case, they're essentially slaves in the depths of Mars, digging something called the helium, which is the
helium-3, which is
the gas they use supposedly to terraform Mars.
And yet they're under the impression that they are still terraforming the planet and that they have been there for only X number of years, but that's still generations, rather than actually it being hundreds of years, and actually they're just basically mining for the power supply, aren't they,
slaves,
in the end?
Basically, that's it. Yeah, and then gold being the top, and the difference between golds is, they've got all the wealth, they've got everything, and not only that, they've modified their genes, so they're all a lot taller, higher bone density, or very strong, or very clever. They all of their names. If you noticed, like, let's say Victor Owl Julii. The owl is the gold in the periodic table, obviously. So it's very much master slave scenario. But everyone is slave to gold. Gold are
the topmost,
top.
They are the people that are trained and looked after and educated the most and have the most power. Basically, you don't do anything against a gold.
Yeah, you can't. It's impossible.
But at the same time, there are things that golds cannot do without them then being whipped off by the whites and have horrendous torture done to them to find out
exactly
what's going on.
There's lots going on. And I really think if anybody is into sci-fi, this is one that they've really got to get into because it's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to list the books now. There's 6 that have come out. So Red Rising's the first one. Second one's called Golden Sun. Third one's called Morning Star. The fourth, so that's the first, that's the main trilogy. Changes up a little bit for Iron Gold, Dark Age, and then Lightbringer. So I'm on a re-listen of Dark Age, which is book 5. So I haven't heard anything of Lightbringer yet. And I've got quite a few of our friends into this. And my brother-in-law, who you probably would have listened to on one of our episodes recently, Dan Telfer, I got him into it. He's already listened to Lightbringer. My friend Mark, not the Mark you know, a different Mark, I got him into it. He's already listened to Lightbringer. And they're desperate to talk to me, and I'm yet to actually get to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am enjoying it, and I will feed back to you once I finish the first book, which I'm hoping will be by the end of next week.
Yeah. I've got a few more. I've got loads, unless you want to go me, you.
No, go for it.
So there's another author. He's between Pierce Brown and this guy, probably my favourite authors. His name's R.R. Hayward.
Not a name I've come across.
Non-sci-fi book series he does. It's called The Undead Book, and there's like 30 of these books.
Right.
And it basically is an undead apocalypse, and each book is basically a day in the life that he goes through.
Oh, okay.
It's not sci-fi. They're fantastic.
Quite a novel idea, because I was going to say the whole zombie outbreak thing's been a bit done to death now. But the idea of each book being a day, now that's a novelty. I like that.
You will really like it, and if you do subscribe, I think the first like 6 or 7 are free. For this, well, free, we're saying free. You're subscribing, so they're not really free, but it's well worth it. Anyway, he's done a few. So I said about the book that I actually read, a paperback on somebody who doesn't read. He did a trilogy called the Extracted Trilogy. Now, what that is time travel. So obviously that's sci-fi. So it's about this bloke who creates a time machine, goes to the future and go, oh, this is great. Comes back, just decides to go back again. But when he jumps forward again to the exact same spot, the world doesn't exist. There's been an apocalypse and everyone's dead.
Oh.
So he's like, oh crap, what do I do about this? He has some kind of autism, I think, where, they're kind of highly intelligent, but isn't particularly good with other parts of social life.
So it's if it is autism that the character's meant to have, then it's referred to as high functioning.
That's what I'm looking at. They don't explicitly say it, but it's very highly implied that that's the case. So what he does is he finds somebody to, like a military person, to run a team, and this military person goes through the timeline and finds these 3 people, goes back in time and takes them out of the timeline at the point of their death. So they don't actually die, they get pulled out of the timeline.
Yeah.
And these 3 people become basically time travelers who are set on trying to figure out what causes the apocalypse and how they can
They've done a
prevent
film
it.
on this, haven't they?
I think
Looper.
It's very similar to Looper. This Looper isn't based on Extracted.
Oh, okay.
This is just a guy who is...
It sounds very similar to Looper, because he's basically going backwards in time constantly, isn't he? Trying to fix the...
I think he's trying to fix his own death or something.
Oh, okay.
Because they go back in time to kill people, and then also eventually all the people who do the jump, the loopers, get taken out the loop themselves. And he finds out, this is spoilers for Looper, because who is it? It's Bruce Willis is one of the guys, and what's that young guy? He's got quite a cool name. Anyway, he plays Bruce Willis younger, and it turns out he's closing his own loop. And that's what
Right,
Looper's about,
okay.
isn't it? Because Bruce Willis takes his.
I don't think I was thinking about Looper then, but Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that's it.
Yeah, he played Tommy in Third Rock from the Sun,
That's
which
it.
is a brilliant show.
Yeah. So these 3 books, Extracted, Executed, and Extinct, they're all very good. Again, R. Hayward, another series. It's called the Code series. And these are kind of Trekky. It's about, they're called the World Ship. They're called the first book's called World Ship Humility. And what they've got is a whole load of world ships. Again, apocalypse on Earth. Certain countries manage to build these huge, giant spaceships to take their population. And, you know, I think like China's got one, and the Great Britain's got like 2, and America's got a few. And there's a few other ones. And it's all, again, it's like a load of slaves on the bottom who got onto the ship. They're called L4s. They managed to get onto the ship without really being allowed on the ship. And they're basically like refugees, get treated like shit, and they're on the bottom levels. And it's kind of finding conspiracies in this spaceship and all these other spaceships.
So it's funny you saying about this, because the thing is, and what always comes to mind, as much as I love sci-fi, it's really stuck in a rut a lot of the time. And it's almost always dystopian, or it's end of the world.
Yeah.
That's almost the 2 tropes that they almost always seem to end up going with when it comes to sci-fi. And I'm just looking at kind of my list of sci-fi at the moment I've got here, and there's very, very little on it that isn't actually falling within that.
I was just thinking, because he's got 2 others. There's one who's got a long-winded name. The Hive Book 1 Delio. It's about an AI.
Right, okay.
Okay, so you can kind of see where that's going. And another one, A Town Called Discovery, is another one he did. That's I think that's another time traveling one. It was ages since I've actually read that one. I say read, I mean listen, but I'll always say read.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that story follows this guy who, I'm trying to remember the beginning of it. It's like every time he dies, it kind of starts this cycle again and again and again. And it turns out that he gets hired to do some time travel stuff. Timey-wimey stuff, as they would say.
Timey-wimey, yes.
Different author, Dennis E. Taylor. He did a book, it's 4 books so far, called We Are Legion, We Are Bob. Now, these are really good.
These
right?
are ones I've heard of, but I don't know anything about.
So, he's a guy who earns loads of money in some kind of tech business.
Mm-hmm.
And this is right at the beginning of the book, and gets killed, hit by a car, I think. And part of his insurance was they would like save your brain activity.
Yep.
And
Upload you.
what actually happens, he gets uploaded into a space probe and gets launched into space. So they use his brain as the AI to control this space probe. It's a certain type of space probe which I cannot remember the name of, but it's a space probe that multiplies itself, and that's what he does. So he goes into space, starts multiplying himself, but because it's himself again, they are all called Bob. And like, well, we can't all be called Bob. That's why we're called We Are Legion, We Are Bob. We're going to call them Bob Legion. And
is there a bit of comedy to it then?
It's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, it is funny. Now, what they found is all of the space probes were going insane because they got no control of their physics. There's no physical embodiment to what. But what Bob does is because of what he did as a human, building technology and building software, he creates a virtual reality inside his brain, and then gives himself an avatar inside his space probe, and that's how he gives himself sense of being. Now, there's I don't know if it's the Russian one, doesn't do that and goes mad.
Okay.
So they like have a war, and then they go so far out to space, and they find planets, first contacts, Borg-esque aliens, battling. And all the humans are still alive, but they, further on,
but they're just trying to reach out into the stars.
So trying to reach out, explore. Things happen where the Bobs then have to start creating weapons and stuff. Very good. There's 4 books. They're called We Are Legion, We Are Bob, For We Are Many, All These Worlds, and Heaven's River. They're all very good, funny.
Ooh, I might, once I've got through Red Rising and that series, I might have to give those a crack.
I think We Are Legion might be free too.
They sound right up my alley, to be fair.
You'll enjoy those. And then the last one I really want to talk about, I mentioned this either last episode or the episode before, was the H.G. Wells collection
Mm-hmm.
that I listen to. So the ones that are on it is The War of the Worlds.
Yeah, which still makes me laugh at how different the story is.
Yeah.
In fact, it takes place in London, in Richmond, if I remember rightly,
Yes.
isn't it? And he dives into the Thames
Well,
at the very beginning.
These ones are read by famous David Tennant, I think, might be the one who reads The War of the Worlds.
Oh.
So links to the Doctor Who theme tune there. I can't remember, I didn't write them down. I just remember. Oh, you know what? I actually did screenshots, so I'm going to tell you who reads them. And I purposely took screenshots because I was like, oh, I should actually mention who reads these. So, bear with me, everyone. The War of the Worlds was read by David Tennant. Next book, The First Men in the Moon. I got it wrong. I said on the moon last time. First Men in the Moon. That's read by Alexander Vlahos. Can't remember what he's from, but I recognise his voice.
Right.
The Time Machine. That's narrated by Hugh Bonneville.
Great book.
Hugh
The
Bonneville
original
edited it.
film was really good. I've watched the modern variant and it's shite, but the original film's really good on that as well. Cheesy, very chintzy, but good fun.
The Invisible Man. That's narrated by, I'm going to ruin her name here, Sophie Okonedo. Okonedo.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like that one. I thought it was a bit gross.
It is a very gross one. And I will say, for one...
Violent.
It is very violent, and I would say the modern recreation of it, in the case of Hollow Man,
Yeah.
they did a good job of taking that story and making it what they made it.
Yeah.
Again, though, that's horribly brutal, that film, and I'm not that big a fan of Kevin Bacon, but it's not bad. I haven't watched the modern Invisible Man. That was she's the woman from Handmaid's Tale, funnily
I
enough.
think I have watched it. I think Miranda might have wanted to
But
watch it.
apparently that is very, very, very good.
And the last one on that series, The Island of Dr. Moreau, and that's narrated
a
by Jason
weird one.
Isaacs. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. In a whole, I enjoyed the whole collection of books. War of the Worlds, obviously, I've said before, I really like. But The First Men in the Moon is the best one. It's a really good one. Yeah,
Okay.
The First Men in the Moon's good.
Nice.
What else was I going to tell you? I kind of took some screenshots of other things. Oh, yeah, and I've got a special mention, Foundation, Isaac Asimov. I started it, but then I started getting into other things, and because it seems like it's going to be a hard listen.
Yeah.
But I know they've done a very good series on Apple TV, Foundation, which is based on this book.
Oh, okay.
Really proper Dune level sci-fi of kind of
Right.
slow.
You see, I maybe it's just because I'm very limited to what I enjoy, and I must admit, when it comes to things like intellectual books and intellectual shows, I switch off. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I kind of get the idea that a lot of the Asimov stuff is a lot more in depth story-wise,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that draws me in or not. So
You've got to be in the mood for them.
mm,
The only critique I'd say about the Pierce Brown one is that remembering who some of the people are sometimes. I've listened to them so many times, I know who they all are now. But I know the first time, sometimes I found myself rewinding it a little bit and just listening to that a little bit again to make sure I knew that Gold's ridiculously long name was the same Gold I knew from another one.
yeah, so that's going to take some getting used to. The whole Greek style naming system that they've gone for. It wasn't so bad when they were down in the mines.
Yeah, because they were just Irish.
It's just all Irish names, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, as they come up, it's got considerably harder trying to keep track of things. I mean, it's nice that they've got things like, oh, that's Mickey. Oh, I can remember that one. That's
Yeah,
Dancer.
Mickey,
I can
yeah.
remember that one. But yeah, okay, no, cool. I like it. And there's a fair few there to go through then. I've got some catching up to do.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing more of your Red Rising escapades.
Yeah, well, I will fill you in as I get through it. But so far, I've really, really enjoyed it. So thank you for sending those over. And I will keep digging into them every chance I get. I mean, to give you an idea, I started listening when I was on holiday last week.
Yeah.
And last week I did all the bedtimes with tea.
Yeah.
And I laid him down in the bed next to me. And then before I knew it, I'd listened to 2.5 hours already.
Yeah, they get better and better and better. It doesn't slow down. I never think at any point in that whole series, or all the way on book 5, at any point do I think it's gone down. It's still going up, still everything's wicked, everything's happening. Emotionally, you're up and down because you want to cry, you want to be angry, you're happy, whatever. But yeah, what I really would like to know is how long it takes you to decide you need to listen to the second book, and then how long it takes you to decide you need to listen to the third, based on what happens at the end of each one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, look, we've done the educated thing. We've talked about books.
Books, yeah.
Let's move on now onto the world of TV. And I mean, it's hard to believe that people don't, but we're geeks, I guess. So it wouldn't be in our nature. But I know geeks that don't like this. But what do you think of Doctor Who?
I think I feel like I'm on an outlier because Christopher Eccleston is my favourite.
You're not. He's my favourite.
Yeah. And
I'm so glad you said that because so few people agree with me. I wish he'd stuck around longer because he had what took Tennant and Smith to the end of their lifespan within Doctor to form. And that is that, oh shit, he's not just nice and funny, but also he has a very dark side, and you cross that line, it is there. And he had that from day one.
Yeah. I've enjoyed David Tennant and Matt Smith both, but it took me a little longer. I can understand why David Tennant had such a broader range of people really getting into Doctor Who. I think they gave him he's definitely not a better actor. They're both very good actors. But I think they definitely, his whole overarching story, of Bad Wolf stuff and all that, was better. And the spin-off for Torchwood, which I think is fantastic if you haven't watched that.
I really enjoyed Torchwood. I've got the DVDs of it.
All kind of went really, I think I've got them as well, all went really well. And yeah, I can see why people do like David Tennant better.
Torchwood basically adultified Doctor Who, and gave it an extra leg to stand on.
Yeah,
and the way they go back to it throughout the series of Doctor Who has been really nice. For me, it goes Eccleston, Tennant, Smith.
Yep,
but Tennant and Smith are very, very close. They all, but the thing is, Tennant I actually liked straight away. Smith, I thought, I'm not going to like this bloke doing this. I don't see it. And he sold me pretty quick after that, which I was surprised by. Jodie Whittaker, I didn't like as the Doctor. And before anyone jumps on that bandwagon, no, it wasn't because it was a female Doctor. Actually, I think having a female Doctor would have been a brilliant idea if they'd had someone writing decent bloody stories.
No, that's what I wasn't ever going to mention it because I was thinking people are going to misconstrue anything I say on her ones, because firstly I haven't seen them all, and secondly people were going to think, I
gave up with them because I found them so poorly written.
It was the episodes,
and the idea of them was just rubbish.
Each episode, this is the thing I think people are going to be annoyed with me. Each episode felt to me like they were trying to get some point at you, trying to shove something in your face about something. Do you know what I'm saying when I say that?
I know what you mean.
But it wasn't done in a way that was good. I think she was brilliant. I really enjoyed her. I enjoyed the people that were with her. I thought she was a great Doctor. And
Jodie Whittaker is a brilliant actress anyway. I don't know if you've ever seen Broadchurch.
No.
Horribly, horribly brutal, but definitely worth watching. Funny enough, it's filmed where we normally go on holiday. We haven't this year, but it's filmed in a place called West Bay down in Dorset. It's very
Capaldi was the guy that you missed.
I was just going to say I'll come back to Capaldi in a moment, but Jodie, I just felt that the stories were written badly, and it just didn't work for her. If they had given her some of the story arcs, you stuck her in the place of Eccleston then, and on that first season, boom, she would have been amazing.
She would have done just as good a job in the Tennant series.
Oh, she would have done, but anything pre-Capaldi, the writing for is brilliant.
Yes.
Then you get to Capaldi and Capaldi, and initially I was like, I don't mind him actually. He's quite good as a Doctor.
I didn't mind him either.
I don't mind Clara. Then they started getting into stupid territory. Right, he's now blind. And I just really didn't like it. It felt like there was just suddenly this massive leap in what's going on and how it's changed. And slowly but surely, I just really didn't like his character. And it felt like, it again, not the actor, but the writing of the stories.
Yeah.
And I feel that's what then carried over into Whittaker, which was really grossly unfair on her. Oh, it was unfair on Capaldi as well.
Yeah.
They both deserved way better than they got.
Yeah.
And now we've lost both of them.
Yeah.
So we've potentially lost two brilliant doctors there.
Yeah.
Because they were badly written.
It was definitely the writing that did that over. Because I only watched the most of the first season with her, and I remember saying to the wife, I was like, "She's really good. I don't know why people are complaining about her." I said, "I just don't like this story that they're telling me. It's just
exactly.
It's not for me. Whatever it was, you know."
It changed the game plan to what we'd already got. Now, funny enough, the question though I would like to ask is: did you ever watch old Doctor Who?
No.
Then I can't really.
Chris Ferguson was my first Doctor Who,
and that's perfectly fine. And you could argue, in fact, I'm sure people do argue, that is the same then as classic Star Wars people and Disney Star Wars. And this is what you've brought up before. Episode 1 is considered by a lot of Star Wars fans as terrible as the Disney stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't made for them.
Yeah.
It was made for a generation who hadn't had Star Wars yet. And I think a lot of Doctor Who is the same. And modern Doctor Who was built for a generation who hadn't had Doctor Who. It hadn't been around for years. Hence all the news articles were Doctor Who being brought back after X number of years. Yeah. And there was a big serenade over
deal,
it.
Yeah, big deal.
Now, I grew up with the original Doctor. I love the original Doctor. I love the original films, the black and white film. When seeing them travelling to Watford in black and white films and so, it's wonderful. And seeing everything, and it's original Doctor Who, brilliant. And a lot of people will say Tom Baker was the best Doctor out of that one. But what I've slowly found is that every Doctor has its fan base. For me, it was Sylvester McCoy, and that's because they were the ones that were either shown or repeated when I was small.
Yeah.
So they were my generation's Doctor.
Yeah.
And I love him. I absolutely love the old stuff. It was cheesy, the sets wobbled, but it told good sci-fi stories. And I think the thing that I really miss from the original Doctor Who that you don't get with modern Doctor Who is modern Doctor Who, an episode is an episode.
Yeah.
Original Doctor Who is 6 episodes make up an episode.
Yeah.
So it's a storyline for X number of episodes. And I loved it because it felt like, oh, I can't miss next week's episode because I need to know what's going to happen. Whereas modern Doctor Who, for me, as much as I enjoyed it, if I miss an episode, it really doesn't matter. I'll come back and...
They did it at Christmas, didn't they? They would do Christmas and New Year was 2 episodes.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, but they were doing that for David Tennant. They started doing that.
Yeah, I need to catch up on them. I need to give the Jodie Whittaker ones a bit more of a trial again.
I would really like to finish her ones just to see how it got on.
They're all on iPlayer. They are all on iPlayer, so it is well worth doing, and I will do it.
They've got who's the guy doing it? Has he already started, or are they filming it?
It's filming. It's in post-production, I think, and it's this year. I'm looking forward to where they go with it because apparently it's back to the original writers.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Well, it's back to the original writers, and I don't get people's objection to different people being made a Doctor, whether it's female, whether it's gender, whether it's race, whether it's creed. I don't care.
It makes no difference whatsoever.
If the actor can portray that character in a way that's enjoyable, that's all that matters. And it's like the whole James Bond argument. It really doesn't matter who James Bond is.
I want to see Idris Elba be James Bond. The problem with Idris Elba being James Bond is he's a bit older now.
That's the problem, isn't it? He's not a dissimilar age to Craig Daniel. Daniel Craig, not Craig Daniel.
Craig Daniel.
Yeah, he's similar age to Daniel Craig, and that's why Daniel Craig is pulling out of it, is he feels too old for it now, and I kind of understand that's why Pierce Brosnan bowed out of it.
Daniel Craig is fantastic Bond. It's not sci-fi.
Brosnan's my favourite.
Such a good Bond. GoldenEye is the top tier James Bond.
All the classic James Bonds, I love the classic James Bond films. I love the modern ones, maybe, and that's the worst thing for the whole Brosnan. GoldenEye, Time to Kill, not too bad. Everything after that was pretty dire. But the thing was, Pierce Brosnan kind of fit the exact mould. If you described Bond written in a book,
Yeah.
I think you'd end up describing Brosnan.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough. Right, I'm just going to have a quick break and then we will come back and we will talk about film, I think. Okay?
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
And we're back after that parenting break because children, who'd have them? Apparently I did. Oh well, anyway. So we were just saying about Doctor Who. So yeah, I feel that a lot of the recent Doctors were let down because of the writing.
Yeah.
And there's not really much else we can say about that. I mean, the original Doctor Who's, for me, as I said, McCoy was kind of the one that I really enjoyed. And actually, there's a question. Best companion. So from old Doctor Who, that's what I like. McCoy had Ace, who was basically, she looked like Lister from Red Dwarf, just a girl version. And I loved that. And then in the modern one, it's really hard.
I really like Rose.
I did. I really liked good old Chipmunk Cheeks.
But then Catherine Tate's one I also enjoyed.
So I've started rewatching the Doctor Who slowly, and I've just got to Tennant and I've got to Catherine Tate again. And I'm not a big fan of Catherine Tate. I don't like her.
I love her comedy, though.
I mean, Jem absolutely loves the Nana character.
Of course.
Fucking liberty. It never gelled with me. But yeah, actually, Donna is a really good companion. It levels it out so nicely.
Yeah.
Karen Gillan, though, just absolutely every day of the week, in that police uniform. Oh dear, we're one of those podcasts. I'm sorry, everyone, but wow, yeah. And
he did just do a knee rub, by the way, for you Shooting Stars watchers out there. He did a knee rub.
Her story arc was painful, though, as in it was upsetting.
So was the dude's.
Yeah, Rory's one was, he became the Centurion to guard her, basically.
Sad.
Then you'd got Clara.
Yeah. Again, tasty.
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
We're really sexualising.
We are really. The
thing
I found with Clara was I found she was too smart for her own good when it came to it. It was almost like she was... I guess... she was almost running at the same level as the Doctor was, which kind of caused the dynamic not to work as well. Whereas Donna is a prime example here. He treated her like, oh my God, you're like common as muck. But then you realise, actually, just because she didn't have the raw intelligence the Doctor has, the things she's done in her life experience helps massively. So like that constant of, I did a week's temping as an HR person, so that's what that was perfect, and that's what kind of felt. Whereas Clara's character kind of just felt always very uppity and very kind of. The one I really didn't like was Martha.
Oh God, I'm struggling.
Martha
now.
Jones. She ends up coming back.
My memory's not working on this one, so I'm actually going to have to look her up.
She's the one that was training to be a doctor and then follows the Doctor around, nearly has her family killed, and then she comes back for that one episode when she then gets cloned by the Sontarans. Again, that's a Donna episode, but I didn't like her character. I didn't like any of the...
Do you like River Song?
I like River. I prefer her in ER personally, but so that's where I first came across her. Jane Corday, Dr. Corday. Yeah, it's Dr. Corday in ER. It's her character, but I liked her. I like her character, and I like the whole. I'm not going to give you spoilers. I like that entire thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of Capaldi's companions.
I'll just put on Google here. It's to see if I can remind myself of their actual names. Yes, it was Rose Tyler, Martha Jones, Donna Noble, Amy Pond.
Yeah, Amy Pond.
Yeah, River Song. Who else we got? Sarah Jane Smith.
Yes, which well, that's a classic one.
Yeah.
Who then turns up in Modern Who, but she had her own spin-off show called The Sarah Jane Mysteries, which was a CBBC show, which actually is really solid. I'm unashamed to admit that I actually watched all of those and really enjoyed them. They were just nice little tidbits of Doctor Who, basically.
So my old man says, because we're on the 15th Doctor now,
Yeah.
he says that there
was a
the
limit.
First episode that they could only regenerate 10 or 11 times or something.
They can, and it was written in some way that he can go past that number. And I must admit, I don't know where it is.
I think I remember the episode. I think it might have been a David Tennant episode where he dies and gets brought back from the stars or something. They get the energy back out of the TARDIS. And he gets recreated, and it's either the Matt Smith, either happens to Matt Smith or David Tennant, and that they're saying is the reset.
I need to rewatch it and find that point because it's right. There was the whole point of he's meant to be the last Doctor, but he isn't. And before we get on to anything else, because I don't want this episode to be stupidly long as they always are, but longer than it should be anyway. A real wasted character of David Tennant's now wife in the Doctor's Daughter episode. So they end up on a planet.
Yeah.
Has his DNA taken. That's where they met, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Out comes the Doctor's daughter, and we end with her jetting off to go into the universe.
Nothing ever comes from that.
And nothing ever comes from it at all. So we've got this daughter that has regenerated but stayed the same. And goes off into, and we get nothing about it since.
Yeah, nothing. I would like to say, actually, Rose Tyler is joint with Jack Harkness.
I like Jack.
John Barrowman, the face of Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great character.
You see, I
We
forgot
talk
he
about
was the face
Torchwood.
of Bo. Absolutely. Anyway, let's move on.
move on from
The only
Doctor Who.
other TV, there's two I want to talk about. So Stargate we already kind of covered.
Yeah,
Really good. Tilk is a brilliant character, and the actors are so funny as well. If you've ever watched any of the bloopers,
Yeah, some
go
great
and dial them
bloopers.
up. It's almost always him. There was the modern version of The Outer Limits,
Right.
which I would heavily suggest you go
I
and
have
watch
not
if you get a
seen.
chance. There's a couple with Leonard Nimoy called I, Robot is the episode, and there's some really dark ones that are very X-Filey sort of based with like I've forgotten what they're called now, but basically the monsters under the bed taking children. So that was very good. Then you got Red Dwarf, which we've already kind of talked about. The early series were the best for it.
Definitely.
But I've got two, but we're not going to talk about Star Trek because we talk about Star Trek enough in other episodes. There are two shows though that I must bring up. Now, one is from when I was very small. I've got them on DVD now because they were released. But they're an old show. They are TOS era sort of shows, so 60s. And it's called The Land of the Giants. And it was, I only ever saw the reruns, obviously. And I've got these vivid memories of watching these reruns, basically going and seeing my aunt who was in an old people's home when I was very small. And obviously mum and dad would go and sit with her and we'd be given some money by her to go down to the local newsagent and get some sweeties. Then we'd come back and what are we going to do? And we used to go and sit in the common room, or we'd sit at home before we were going, and it was a Channel 4 rerun, and it was called Land of the Giants, and it was a wonderful show. Basically, there's a spaceship coach service, basically. So it's that it kind of set in the future when that exists, and it gets caught in a time vortex or a spacey, wacy, timey-wimey thing, and they end up on Earth, and there's like, oh, we're on Earth, we've crash landed, it's okay, I wonder what happened. And then they realise they're all tiny, and it's basically Earth, but everyone else is giants. And it's basically these series of how they're kind of they try and get back, but then they're getting chased by the giants because the giants keep seeing these little people, so they start getting hunted. And there's this brilliant episode, they come across a model village, so they go and live in the model village.
Oh, that's quite cool.
It's a really good old
Something like
show.
that happened in The Borrowers.
It's basically The Borrowers before The Borrowers was a TV series and a film.
So it's like the Land of Giants is normal sized people ending up on a planet with giants. The Borrowers is little sized people trying to live with normal sized people.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But that is one definitely worth going and watching because it's
What year is this?
I couldn't actually tell you. Let me
It's
dial
going to
it
all be forced perspective
Let's
filming. I'm
always
guessing.
get IMDb. Well, that's the thing. It's really, really well done for the era. There's a lot of what would have been very early, 1968.
Yeah.
So there would have been very early green screening in it. But then there's also things like they made life-size models, and then they made giant-size models.
Could they do green screening, like rotoscoping in...
Very early rotoscoping
68.
was around 68, yeah.
Blimey.
But then there was also things like when one of them gets picked up by a giant hand, for example, they made a giant hand.
Oh, that's so cool.
And you can tell, obviously, but it was cheesy, but it was good. And I would actually wager, watching it now, versus the old original series of Star Trek, it's a lot better. The stories are better, the effects are better, the acting is better. I know it's hard to believe that William Shatner could be out-acted, but people did it, It's one of those things. But it's worth watching. I'll lend you the DVD, or we'll watch a couple of episodes together so you can see what it is. But it was a clever idea, especially for the time, and watching it be done. I'm genuinely surprised no one's tried to reboot it, especially in the day and age of what we have now and how it could be done. It could be rebooted if they kept it as innocent. The problem that I see is they would try and make it too adult or try and make it too hardcore, I would guess, and rather than it being kind of a family-friendly show, which it was.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then one that I think you've watched, Sliders.
So I didn't ever watch it. Miranda's told me about it.
Oh, you've got
I
to,
never
again,
watched
it's
it.
another one on the list you've got to watch. So the whole premise of Sliders is he's a smart ass. He creates a way of going between interdimensions.
Right.
So it works out that just because you're in your dimension, there is another version of you in another time, in another dimension at exactly the same time, living a completely different life, doing a different thing. Alternate reality, perfect. And yeah, they slide around, they end up going back to, and every time they slide, they're in the same place. So where they find the teleport, or where they find the portal when it forms, they go through it, they're in exactly the same place as they left, but it's this alternate dimension. So they end up in a dimension where...
You're swapping.
Yeah, but the person is the people. They're not swapping with the people. They're going to it. So their lives are still going on when they're there. So they might come across.
Two of them.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And they do come across each other. And there's a fair few stories where that comes up, where there's possibly famous politicians and one of them's that. Then there's the world they go to and the dinosaurs weren't extinct. So they just live side by side with the dinosaurs. Or they go to a world where penicillin wasn't invented. And one of them nearly dies, so they invent penicillin, and that revolutionises that alternate reality. So it's a really clever idea for a show, and it had some really big actors actors in it as well. Let me quickly dial it up here because I'm no good with names. So Sliders, here we go. So you had Jerry O'Connell, who is in Star Trek. Oh God, my brain. Why has my brain stopped working?
Yeah, but brain farts.
The Star Trek we like.
What, Strange New Worlds?
No. Cartoon Star Trek.
Oh my gosh. Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. I'm sure he's Jerry O'Connell's the.
I'll tell you. I just wrote Sliders and I just literally just got the shoes.
Yeah, that's more like it. Hang on. Well, IMDb, are you letting me down? Cast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at the show, for goodness sake. I'm not looking at what he did. Yeah, he's the main commander in Lower Decks.
Oh, okay.
So you've got Jerry O'Connell, and the big name that you'll know is John Rhys Davies, who is Indiana Jones and all sorts. He plays the Professor, Gimli in your favourite film series. Yep. He joins them for the journey and realises that his student has managed to do this. The down point with Sliders, I think there's like 5 seasons, possibly 6. After season 4, there's pretty much none of the original cast in it anymore.
Oh, that's a shame.
Which really kills it, which is a real shame because as a series, it was a really good series. But yeah, is there any TV sci-fi that you want to talk about before we quickly talk about films?
No, you've kind of really spoke about all of them. Well, I mean, I don't, other than Star Trek, I don't actually know very many of those. But ones you have mentioned, Red Dwarf. Yeah, that was what I would have watched.
Now, I'm
What
not
I
sure,
think of.
but I'm almost certain that we've nearly mentioned Ramish in every episode at this point.
Well, you're going to mention him now, are you?
I am going to mention him now because it's Ramish that introduced me to one of the greatest sci-fi films of all time. So, I don't know if you remember, Ramish used to do video rentals.
Yep.
And then it moved to Threshers. Then it moved back to Ramish.
I remember getting them from Threshers rather than Ramish.
See, I used to get them
knew
from
he did, but
Ramish
I'd
before
get
they
them
moved to
from
Threshers. And I went in and I said, Ramish, can you recommend me a film? And I was only little.
Was it a cricket film?
No, he recommended me. And bear in mind, I can guarantee you he hadn't watched. He had no idea, but he said, this one is popular. No. Again, he wouldn't have done that because he was strict about kind of ages and stuff, bless him. Even on the fireworks, he would never sell to me. Tron.
Oh, really?
I took it home and I was blown away by it.
Yeah.
I sat there glued to Tron the first time I ever watched that. And I rewatched it recently and I rewatched the new one and I don't get the hate for the new one. I thought it was quite good. The CGI Jeff Daniels is pretty bad.
Yeah, that's the kind of beginning of the whole de-aging stuff, isn't it?
It's basically Uncanny Valley. You can tell it's not right. Yeah. But still, it didn't detract from the film that much. I thought the film was pretty good.
I don't know if I've seen the new one.
No, it's not bad. It's, again, one that's probably worth watching. It's on most of the streaming services for free. I'm going to take you back a really old film now, which I really doubt you will have seen, Saturn 3. And that's a really dark sci-fi film. It's weird. Basically, they're on one of the moons of Saturn, if I remember rightly, and they're farmers, basically. And they send ships fairly often to come and collect stuff and take it back to Earth. And they... you roll hitting the mic.
Sorry.
They send someone from the organisation to say, well, we're giving you this robot that's going to help. And basically how they program the robot is the bloke that brought the robot plugs himself into it to teach it further things. But the problem is the robot picks up on and starts learning the emotions that this bloke has for the woman on the station, causing the robot to go mental and start trying to kill everyone for the woman. And it's real classic kind of sci-fi. It's not wonderful, but it is a real kind of cheesy, good sci-fi film. And kind of is a similar era to Silent Running. Now, I know you said you Googled that, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to. You put a GIF on Twitter and then somebody asked what it was. I was like, I'm going to have to Google this because I don't know.
It's a good film. It's not one to sit down and go, oh, I fancy watching a film. It's one you've got to sit down and concentrate for. It's basically what we were saying earlier about the tropes. It's the end of the world. Everything's been taken over by money. It's all very dystopian. The spaceships, for example, are sponsored by places like FedEx, but they've all got these giant terraniums on them full of all the last trees and plants of Earth. And the idea is they've just been sent out into space while the Earth tries to recover. And there's one man who's cultivating all the plants, and everyone else on the ship, the Silent Running, doesn't want to be there. And then they get the order saying, that's not being funded anymore. Come home, and you were going to go back to using the ships as kind of floating hotels and cruise ships, basically. And the one that's cultivating the plants goes mad because that basically means that when they get back, they're just going to destroy his life's work. And he ends up butchering all of the crew.
Oh, bloody hell.
And then they send other ships after him. So it's a really sad ending, and I'm ruining it for you now. And I'm ruining it for anyone that's never seen it. But basically, he then teaches the robots in that GIF you see to look after the plants before he ejects that dome and says, this is how you look after them, see you later, ejects it, and then blows his ship up so they don't go after the terranium after his plants that he spent his life keeping. It's quite a distressing film, but it's also very good. It's a very powerful film. Then have you seen The Day the Earth Stood Still?
No, I haven't. My dad said that I should probably watch it.
Early one, brilliant. Absolutely wonderful. Gets to the point straight away. Really hammers home the idea of if Earth doesn't change, it's over. With the idea that this alien's going to basically destroy it. The modern one with Keanu Reeves, I wouldn't piss on it to put out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just another film they rebooted, and it just has no charm to it. It has no magic to it. It has no feeling to it. It's just pants in comparison.
You know, there's two we haven't mentioned yet.
Oh, yeah.
The Martian. Did you like The Martian?
The Martian was amazing. It actually made me go and read the book. I actually bought the book on Amazon and read it and was blown away by it. And I wish they'd actually included more stuff that they had in the book in the film.
Yeah. And long-time listeners would know Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, yeah, absolutely. That is top-tier sci-fi. For me, Event Horizon,
and horror.
top tier. Oh, and horror, absolutely. It's up there with Alien.
I was saying to Miranda only yesterday, because we're talking about what we're going to talk about now, saying I think Event Horizon is one of the scariest films I've ever seen.
And I agree. And I really wish the director's cut existed. We've talked about it so many times. Oh, I would love to see what was apparently non-certifiable.
If you ever find it, I want to watch it with you, sat here on that television in the dark, because it really does f me up. It's
a dark.
I close my eyes in points.
But I mean, the original Alien scared me. The original Alien, but I did watch it when I was like 14 or 13.
When I first watched it, I was scared of the original Alien.
I let my brain get carried away. That's my big problem with anything, especially sci-fi. I know aliens probably don't exist, but I could even wake up now in the middle of the night, the whole house is silent, and let my mind run away and think, what would happen if an alien landed right now and its whole thing was, we're going to kill you? And then I won't sleep.
You know what?
And it really panics me.
A good way. It got panned. I think it's either called Fourth Kind or Fifth Kind. And it's got the lady who does those Resident Evil films.
Oh, Mila Djokovic.
So she plays like a psychiatrist or something, a scientist. I'm doing air quotes, everyone, based on true story. And there are all the people in this like small American town have been supposedly, they're saying they've been abducted, and she's like interviewing them, and there's one continuous thing as they all have dreams of this white owl looking at them through the window.
Okay.
And something about this film, it's not like a particularly scary film, but it really got into my wife's head. So when I like to play tricks on her, or like she's being particularly egregious for something at bedtime, whatever, I'd say, oh, what's that? And she'd be like, what? At the window? It's like, it's an owl watching us. She'd be like, oh, shut up.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
Yeah, that's one to watch. I think it's got a particular scene where someone's like supposedly getting possessed or something. But yeah, that's like alien abduction. And
okay.
It's filmed, if I'm trying to remember, it was a long time ago that I watched it, that it's kind of filmed in a way that she's recording the interviews, and then there are other bits. But yeah, they're just that owl thing always stuck with me as quite a good thing.
Okay, we're talking about recent films I've watched. I watched a Netflix special, which I don't normally watch because a lot of the time I find them pretty crap. But saying that, I thought I'd give them more of a chance since I watched Bright, and I really liked it.
Bright's good.
No, this one's called Extinction.
Yep, Extinction's good. Really good.
Oh, I'm glad you've watched it.
Yeah,
because
Extinction's really good.
I started to get the idea there is definitely a twist in
Natalie
it.
Portman? Extinction?
No. This is new. So Extinction is
what am I thinking of then? I've obviously got the wrong.
So Extinction's a fairly new film. I'll tell you when it was. It's
2018.
Oh yeah, it's 2018. Michael Pena, who has been in all sorts of things like Ant-Man. He plays whatever his name is. He turns up in all sorts of things. He's a very funny actor. Anyway, this is actually quite a serious role for him. Now, I would recommend going and watching it. There is a great twist in it. Do you want me to ruin that twist for you?
No, because I'll probably watch it. So now I'm trying to think about what the film was that I always think of. Annihilation, yes. Same year, 2018.
Oh, interesting. Okay. See, I thought Extinction was newer than that, but again, well worth going to watch because it has a unusual twist in it, and genuinely, it's not one I saw coming. And on the most part, when films have got twists in it,
interrupting you, I think I have seen Extinction. I'm just going to quickly look at that again. Or maybe I've just seen the trailers.
it could be that you've seen the trailers. You'd know the twist if I told it to you, and then you'd know if you'd seen the film or not. But as I say, if you haven't seen the film, I don't want to tell you the twist because it isn't one you will see coming.
No, I haven't seen it. I've seen the trailers at the time and been like, oh, we should watch that. We should watch that.
Yeah, watch it because, as I said, it's not like Shamalama Ding Dong's films where you end up getting a twist in it and you go, well, yeah, I saw it about half an hour ago. You will not see the twist coming until it hits you.
He needs to do some films where he doesn't have twists in to then make us all think, oh, okay, this one might not have a twist.
Exactly, yes. So, Extinction's worth watching. One of my all-time, and I'm getting conscious about the time, so we'll stop shortly. Moon is one of the best sci-fi films. I don't know
what that one is.
Sam Rockwell, basically, he's on the moon, and he does a job there. And he then he has a massive accident out on the moon surface, but manages to get himself back to his moon base, where he then finds Sam Rockwell. And it turns out they've basically illegally cloning, and every time he's died on the moon, they just crack another one out of storage, and he starts his day again as if nothing's ever happened. And then they both end up living on this moon base together, and he basically finally pieces together what's happened, and breaks the news to the world that this corporation has been doing this horrible, horrible thing, basically.
That reminds me of, I think it's called Oblivion with Tom Cruise. They're only allowed in each section. If they go to the next section, there's actually another one of him in the other section.
I quite liked Oblivion.
I liked Oblivion.
I worked out that was going to be the case. I think it was 10 minutes, and I said, as soon as they said you can't cross the borders, it's like, yeah, there's another Tom Cruise, isn't there?
I didn't see that bit. I don't think I saw any of that coming. I think I was just like, it's Tom Cruise film. I'm just going to turn my brain off and enjoy it.
Yeah, fair enough. And that's exactly what I did in the end. I still enjoyed it. And for those of you that are sci-fi fans, if you want a really bad B movie that is highly recommended watching, Moontrap. It is good old, I can't think of his actor's name. It's Chekhov from Star Trek.
Yep.
He's an astronaut with oh my god, why is my brain not working? Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell. It's him and Bruce Campbell basically get the chance to go to the moon, and then they find a spaceship, so they get to go to space, come back with an egg thing they found on this massive ancient spaceship, which then turns itself into this motherfucking giant robot, kills a load of people. So they go back to the moon to find out what's going on. They then get kidnapped by this alien race who have been living on the moon. Mm-hmm. And then Bruce Campbell dies and gets dissected and turned into one of these robots. And it's really, it's quite funny in a way, but creepy as well. And then they find an alien lady who speaks like oola pee pee poo poo and ends up going back to... Anyway, really good film. Just solid B-movie rubbish. And then... it ends with a cliffhanger. And then there's Moontrap 2, which is the biggest pile of modern shit I've ever seen. It is like they basically said, the first film had a really good cliffhanger ending. Mm-hmm. We're ignoring that and we're making our own film and we'll just call it Moontrap 2.
Different actors and everything.
Different actors and everything.
Like
awful storyline.
Yeah.
The effects are 10 times worse than this film from the 80s. I mean, there's a part in the film, it almost feels like they just kind of got a cardboard cutout and then went peekaboo as they move it up in front of the lens as a jump scare bit. It's like, that is terrible.
Yeah.
So don't get trapped by that. The first Moontrap, well worth what? It's free on YouTube. Go and watch it. Classic B movie. Not a great story, not a great film, but good fun and just action sci-fi. Do not watch the second one, whatever you do. I must send it. There's a YouTube called The Worst of Everything, and he basically the worst films, the worst TV shows. And I must send it a request into him to say watch it because genuinely it is bad.
Starship Troopers, you haven't mentioned.
Starship Troopers, what a film.
Would you like to know more?
Nice little throw-in reference there. So again, it's a really solid film.
That ends like there needed to be more. They made a second one, it was awful.
Well, absolutely. There's so many we could talk about. Universal Soldier.
Yep.
Brilliant film. Sequel was dire. Predator 1 and 2. Brilliant. every Predator afterwards has been dire. Although I've not watched this new Disney one. Apparently the one that's set in the Stone Age is really good.
No, okay, not the name. Sorry, I watched...
Predators, Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
Okay. Rant coming in.
Incoming.
If you go and stand next to a Predator, the only thing that is going to happen...
You die.
...is you're going to have your brains and your body destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
They are not going to go... Oh, hello, little lady. Oh, you're offering me help. Oh, well, I'll help you as well. And I'm talking about AVP in this instance.
Yeah.
And Predators does the same. It would not happen. The only reason the Predators don't kill him at the end of Predator 2 is because he's just killed a motherfucking Predator.
Yeah.
He's earned the right not to get killed. The others are just like, if I offer help to them, they might help me. Oh, look, they did. No.
Yeah.
You cut that Predator down in Predators that's hanging from his feet. As soon as you cut him down, he's going to go rah and smash your skull in.
Yeah.
And I hated that they did that. That is not what Predators would do. Yeah, it's not what Predators would do. They would just kill.
Yeah.
And if they're pissed off, they're going to do it more.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of killed that for me. Otherwise, Predators should have been quite a good film if it wasn't for that. I didn't mind it other than that bit. I'm just looking at my list here if there's anything else really on there. But the Terminator films, and like we've talked about in the films episodes beforehand, I guess really we can say Terminator 1 being a suspense thriller, Terminator 2 being an action.
Yeah.
Alien versus Aliens versus Aliens. I rewatched Alien Covenant the other day. No.
I'm not into those ones. I like Alien.
It's my favourite. I know everyone says Aliens is their favourite. Alien is my favourite. The whole 1v1 scenario and it being horror sci-fi is a bigger draw to me than they mainly come at night. Mainly.
Yeah, it's like Pitch Black. Same scenario. Pitch Black. The stuff you don't see is what makes things scary.
Yes,
that's why Pitch Black is
such a low budget film. They're in a blacked out room, a spaceship, and that's it. And they convey so much with that.
Yeah.
And I can't believe to say that Vin Diesel did a good film, but he did a really solid good film with that. I can't believe I'd forgotten about Pitch Black. Well, maybe we'll have to revisit Sci-Fi, I think. But I'm going to say we are probably massively into the hour range now. So let's throw some music in, unless there's anything you want. Because, I mean, we haven't even got to the worst sci-fi yet.
Okay, save that. We can do a bad sci-fi
We will do a bad sci-fi episode. Absolutely. That sounds a beautiful idea to me. So let's have some music.
Deactivation complete.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I also want to shout out to everybody who's contacting us on Twitter.
Oh, God, absolutely.
It's brilliant. Love it. I think I said it to the Killer Rabbit guys that the best part about doing this is when people talk to you on Twitter.
Yeah, Pintful of Cthulhu as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Karen, as always, thank you. But we've got so many people kind of coming out the woodwork now and coming and talking to us. And we didn't even realise, by the way, and I wanted to write down, I forgot to write down. So before I let you do the outro, I'm going to say this. Please leave us a review because that will help us be found by other people. The way the algorithms work on Apple, on Spotify, on Good Pod is the more reviews you get, the more likely you are to appear in things like New This Week or recommendations, absolutely. So if you don't mind leaving us a review, and it doesn't even matter if you leave us a 1-star review because you think we're crap, that all helps us.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you really could, it would be really appreciated. Just jump into the app of your choice. Podcasts, you go down, you just rate us the number of stars. You can leave a comment as well. We do read all of them, and the good ones are going up on the web page. Spotify, it's just a star system. Just give us some stars. That's all good. And whatever you get offered, please just complete it because it really, really would help us.
Yeah, a massive grin on my face after you sent me those Apple ones.
Yeah, absolute snap.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Right, back to the outro, Rob.
So if you do want to contact us on your local X app, we are
Twitter.
at _channel 84 and at Flat Rob. That's both of us.
That is both of us on Twitter.
You can get to either of us on either of them. It doesn't really matter. Threads. What are you on Threads?
At _channel 84.
I'm at Flat Rob on Threads as well. But again, just do _channel84. You'll be communicating with Tom, but I'll see it is that as well.
I do make sure, although it is my personal Twitter, I've basically sent it into the channels one, and I do make sure I share anything that's aimed at the podcast with Rob as well. So he will see it. If you've sent it over to us, we will make sure he gets to see it.
Find us on TikTok at Channel84.
Yep, we're on TikTok as well, and there's a tortilla challenge just gone up there, which was hysterical fun. I'll put it up on Twitter as well later.
You get to hear Kay laughing
giggling away
manically at it. Instagram, we are, because we've taken off what we actually are on all these things, at
I think we're all at _channel84.
At _channel84. Website, where we haven't actually posted that much recently, but we will get back to doing it. We've both got ideas that we want to do. It's channel84.co.uk.
And you can find all our social links on there.
Yep. And you can email us, please do, at podcasts@channel84.co.uk.
I'm sorry I slapped you with a tortilla earlier, Rob.
Sorry, I went straight for the backhand.
The first one you did, how?
I didn't realise there was some rule that we weren't allowed to hit each other hard, but the back
You
slap
can hit
really
hard, but
launches them.
Did you realise how much they would hurt?
No, that's the first time I've ever played it.
Exactly.
I had no idea.
Anyway, love you.
Love you, darlings.
Bye.